That's super odd. Hey everyone, welcome to the API webinar. And it's been really long since I've seen any of you guys. How are you guys doing? Hey from the other side. Hey Alan, hey Miriam. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold on for a bit and let others join before we kick off. So yeah, and I'm sorry, Bram. You ended up in panel. Yeah, I'm still getting used to the new format, so please for that. Hey Oliver. Okay, okay. So yeah, I guess we're good to start now. Yeah. So guys, again, welcome to the API workshop. And you all know that in this workshop, we discuss about things related to the API and how you can integrate your Ninox database or your Ninox applications with different business applications that you might be using in a process. So yeah, I mean, we all know that we have a couple of API endpoints that help you retrieve data from your Ninox application and also push data into your Ninox application. So the workshop is all about how to use those endpoints. And if you have any basic or some advanced questions, maybe like questions around scenarios, then exactly for that. But before we start any of that, we first need to go through some science, and I have prepared like real exact and simple scenario for you, yeah, which I would like to demonstrate in 20 minutes. And yeah, once we're done with that, I'm open for questions. And if you have any other questions besides the scenario or maybe related to the scenario, just let me know. And yeah, I'll promote you to the panelist, and we can discuss then. So if that sounds cool, then we are about to start. Wow, I mean, I'm looking at so many familiar names. It's really nice to see you guys. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, let's kick off. So wait a minute. Let me see if I have everything prepared. Hmm, maybe this. No. Yeah, that's more appropriate. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Let me see. My colleague Bruna, I guess, already covered all the basics, but just for a recap, I just want to let you know that we have a very descriptive manual about our API endpoints in ninox.com/manual. And there you would find everything related to the API documented under API/Ninox REST API. So please do visit the manual. If you have any doubt about that, write to us. But yeah, how to authenticate and where to get the API key, what all endpoints are available, and all the actions that you can do with the API are all documented over there. So I would not go into details, but we will actually kind of cover them within the scenario that we are going to develop now. So one of the really common use case that, not even use case, but I've seen that most of the people, they tend to, let's say, manage interactions in their Nanox database. So yeah, what they do generally is they connect maybe their SMTP, their email provider with Nanox, and they try to get all the emails that are coming into their inbox right into the Nanox database and maybe even reply to them right from within the database. So this is exactly the scenario we're going to tackle today. It's going to be simple, easy, and it will help you get every detail of the API you need at the moment. So all right, and for this scenario, for this demonstration, we are going to use Integromat. Integromat is one of the integration service provider. So there are others as well available. So platforms like Integromat, Zero, slow, and also for like really advanced people, Node-RED. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it all depends on what you want to use. The normal philosophy, the normal let's say, yeah, they kind of they all tend to follow the same philosophy. So they have modules for the applications, and modules have several actions, or they have several triggers that will help data flow from one module to the another module. And we will visualize this like really nicely in Integromat. So let's get going. So the very first thing you need for sure is an Ninox account. I hope you all have that. And the second thing is, yeah, you need an account on Integromat. So, okay, let me sign in. And yeah, the basic again. So the very first thing you would want to do is create a scenario. Find everything accessible, things like scenario, templates, connection, webhooks. We don't need to worry about all of that. The very first thing we do is create a scenario. You see, I have a couple already created. I don't know when I did that, but yeah, let's create a scenario. And basically, as I mentioned, that we want to integrate a Ninox database with an SMTP provider. And for this case, I will integrate Ninox with our Gmail provider. So whenever there is an email in my inbox, in my Gmail inbox, I get that email in my Ninox database. So yeah, maybe you know what? Even before doing that, let's actually create a small database in Ninox. And for the purpose, I'm using next.ninox.com. I hope you all are aware of the big thing that we're doing here. And yeah, please, if you have not checked it out, please do. And we would really appreciate any sort of feedback that you guys have for this. So yeah, please try to use it. And all right, yeah, let me pick a team first. So yeah, and mark my words, I'm gonna pick a team first. So yeah, this is my team, and let's create database. I'm gonna start with Scratch, and we call it um, inbox or interactions. Let's call them interactions. Do we have anything else? I want to choose the icons. This is the first time I'm looking at all these icons. Man, this is so awesome. Wow, isn't it nice? I mean, it's such a fresh feel to the UI. I love it. So interact. Yeah, this looks more like interactions. Let's create the database, and there we have it. So what all fields do you have in an email? So the yeah, let me create a table, and let's just start putting fields in here. So the very first field is going to be subject, of course. Then the second would be maybe some text data or text body. Let's call it text body. The next field is going to be rich text, which is because every time you send an email, it's not just that you get only the text body, you also get some HTML content. So for that purpose, we are going to use rich text. Yeah, HTML body. You very well can have attachments. We will cover that scenario, but towards the later part of this demonstration. So we have subject, we have text, we have HTML, and now we need the from and the to address. So for that, I'm going to use email, and let's mark it as from, and then we use to. There can be multiple CCs, but we will cover that later. I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible for now. So we have now from, we have to, and then the date of receipt. So let's push the time received or date of email. Let's put it like that. Could be anything. Yeah, could be the date when I received it. Could be the date when I sent it, because this module will build up into something else. Yeah. And for now, I think this is it. Yeah, I'm gonna just I'll be just fine with this much of fields. So let's say changes, go to emails, and there I have everything. And basically, now what I need to do is create an integration between my Gmail provider and my Linux database. And so you know now that the data is going to come from the Gmail module. So the very first thing that or maybe, you know what, actually skip it. This is what a scenario looks like. and you see it's just blank. There is nothing in there. And you have an option to select a module. So I'm gonna pick Gmail because this is where the data is coming from. So let's quickly go ahead and pick Gmail. And you see, we have some triggers and then we have some actions. So yeah, let's say that I want to watch for emails, and every time there's an email, I will save it in database. So we know that this is the trigger that we are going to focus on. You select that, and when you do it, Integromat asks you to create a connection or use an existing connection. And I'm sorry, guys, if I'm not looking at the messages, but okay, yeah, I'll try to follow up with the message as well. If you have any question, please drop them in the chat. Yeah, and you can see that I don't have any connections at the moment. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now is maybe add a connection. Yeah, let's do it. And for this purpose, I will use my inbox. And yeah, okay, yeah, I think that's it. Connection name, that's the name of connection. And you continue because it is a Gmail module, so it will automatically know that you need to how to say it, instantiate or start an authentication with your Gmail provider. So it did, and now I just need to select inbox. I know himanshu@anox.com. So there we go. And Google will prompt you to allow, and when you're done allowing Integromat, you will have a connection listed over there. So you can see now in the list, in the drop-down list, I have himanshu@ninox.com. That's my connection, and that's the connection that I'm going to use now. The next thing you need to do is specify which folder you want to look into. So I want to look into basically inbox. Yeah. So yeah, let's select that. If you have some creative ideas that you only want to filter or you only want to watch specific emails, let's say emails only having XYZ or something, then you can very well configure filter. But I'm gonna do a watch on all the emails. So yeah, I won't specify anything over there. So then you have a small property here, mark email message as read when fetched. Well, it depends on you. Whenever the message is fetched by Integromat, it'll be marked if you specify yes here, and it will be left unread if you specify no here. So yeah, totally depends on you. You can also look into the advanced settings, and this gives you plenty of other options. Basically, you need to just figure out what you want. Yeah. And for my scenario, I want it really simple, so I think I'm good with it now. So, oh wow, I don't want any filter. Come on, please. No. All. Oh yeah. Okay. All emails. Yeah, that's what I want. Sorry. So okay. Now Integromat is asking you a particular point in time since when you would like to look for email. So well, basically, because I'm still creating the scenario, so for some sample data, I will need an email. So I'm gonna select the very first email that is in my inbox, and let's see which one it is. Wow, 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 wow. I have a lot. I have a lot. Damn, damn. How about this one? Assume gravity forms. Yeah. So when I run this inbox, Steven, yes, I am sorry, and thanks for pointing out that it is going too fast. I'll try to slow down. Yeah, and yes, it is being recorded. It's also available on YouTube after the session is done. But yeah, okay, I'll try to slow down a bit. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I just fetched my very first email, and you see this bubble icon. This gives you a small glimpse of what emails were fetched, and the one bundle is equal to an email that was fetched from your inbox. So you can see one of the email that was fetched was what's new in gravity forms with the subject that, and the other email that was fetched was Daniel made changes in your shared folders. Um, yeah, so these are the two emails that were fetched, and I'm going to use one of them to create the other scenarios. I will complete the scenario, okay? And Antonio, let me see if I can. Maybe I just you know what? Give me a minute. If it is really too noisy, I can actually maybe change position. Yeah, but let me know if it's fine. Yeah. Okay. Great. So yeah, the next thing that we need to do now is attach the Ninox module in the flow, because now the data is fetched by Integromat and this needs to go into Ninox. And Integromat is having a Ninox module. And you can see it here. So basically, let's try to rethink what we want to do. Every time an email is there, I want that email in Ninox table, which means essentially I want to create a record in a table. So you can see we have a couple of actions here. Actions related to records, files, accounts, lot. Yeah. But let's focus. We want to create records. I'm going to use create record. And now Nanox will pop open a couple of things. And again, you can see the idea remains the same. It is asking you for a connection. I have a couple of connection listed over there, but basically creating a new connection is really easy. So what you need to do is press on that add button and it will ask you for an API key. And you know where to find the API key. It's, yeah, you can simply visit user.nanox.com, and when you go there, and you can see that I'm actually logged in, so which is why I'm looking at this interface. But let's say that you're not logged in, so you just need to log in. And when you do that, there is an API section on in the tabs. So yeah, when you go there, you have all the API keys listed. Just pick one, and if you don't have a key, you can still create a new key by pressing that button. So yeah, really easy, really fast. Copy that API key and go back. Oh wow, it's already asking me to validate again. All right, wait a minute. What's happening? Yeah, I'm just revalidating everything. Yeah, great. So now that you have your API key, you just need to paste it in and provide a name for your connection. Just to make everything semantic, I'll use the same name as that of my Gmail, himanshu@nanox.com, and that's it. Some of you might wonder what this private cloud URL is. So you all must know that we have different line of products. So we have public cloud, we have private cloud on premise, and on premise for Linux, and so on. So well, basically four. So if you are using any of the private cloud products, private cloud or private cloud on premise or on premise Linux, then you need to specify the URL for that private cloud over here. And please make sure that the URL is of proper syntax, yeah, exactly specified um, by the regular expression or the hint just below that. And I just want to remind once again that wow, Integromat, this Integromat's module for now only works with Nanox Private Cloud and not with Nanox Private Cloud on premise. Yeah, you can have your own URL when working with Nanox Private Cloud on premise, and for some reason they have not yet allowed it. So we are still in communications about what's going on with that. But yeah, you can work with public cloud and the private cloud, so nothing to worry about there. And once you have specified the API key, you just need to press continue. And Integromat will now be connected to your Nanox database. So the very first thing you need to do now is pick the team. And you'll remember I picked actually DBDE20. So that is where my database is. Now let's database. Which one was it? Interactions. There it is. And we know that we also have a table. So it's going to be emails. And now Integromat will do the magic. It dynamically pulls all the fields from Linux and show it to you. So all you need to do now is simply map the data coming in from Gmail into the Linux fields. It's as easy as that. So subject will be mapped to the subject coming from the Gmail module. And where is it? Do you guys see anywhere? Yeah, there it is. You see that? And the text body, it gets mapped to the text content coming from Gmail. Same goes with the HTML body. It gets mapped to the HTML content. Now comes the from. So who sent it? It was, I think, okay, sender.email address. I'm going to use that. To whom was it sent? You can statically type your email address because you know that but yeah, let's not do that. We also have receiver. Somewhere we should be having that. Okay, recipient. And we know that there can be multiple recipient, which is why recipient has that square bracket in front of it. So whenever you see a square bracket in any of these platforms, it basically means list. So there can be just one element in the list, there can be more elements in the list. So yeah, but I know that, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm trying to narrow down a lot, but basically you can have multiple recipient as well. But because our Ninox database only has one recipient field, so I'm gonna pick just the first element of that recipient list. So you can see the way that I have mapped here, it is picking explicitly the very first element of that list, and from it, it's taking out the email address. That's the idea. I mean, just trying to read it out. Yeah, you need to map the date of email. It's one thing that almost all the customers kind of struggles with, which is mapping the date fields or the date time fields. So I just want to tell you that Linux is kind of strict about, I mean, it's not strict. It try to parse basically anything that you pass to it. Yeah, but it's still, if you pass a very well formatted date or the date time, then it will be more than happy to just accept it. Yeah. So yeah, here, let's first try to simply use the date that is coming in from Gmail without doing any formatting, and we'll see the output. But if it doesn't work, then I'll show you a small function and a handy utility provided by Integramat to do this. Okay. Yeah. So we are kind of done with the mapping here. Now let's run the scenario. So when I do it, when I run it, it try to pull some data out of Gmail, and you see one operation was performed on Gmail and two bundles were fetched, which means two bundles were fetched from Gmail, and two emails or two records were stored in Linux. Now let's go to our Linux database, and you can see there I have my my emails exactly. Well, yeah. Oh my God, I'm reaching my plan limit. Okay, no problem. Well, yeah, it was as easy as that. And you can see that without doing much work, still the date field was correctly parsed. But at times, what happens is the provider, the module that is providing the date, time data, it doesn't give you a proper format, which is this is the case exactly when you would use the format module from Integramat. And using it is really simple. Let me show you how to do that. So yeah, once you are in the mapping part, once you're in the mapping tree, well, first let's get rid of that. You see all these tabs. You see all these tabs. You just need to pick one of those tabs, and it's specifically the date and time tab. And when you pick that, we have a couple of functions or functions that we can use, and there must be a format function. There it is, format date. Yeah. So we are going to use this format date function. It accepts two parameters. The very first parameter is the unformatted date, the date that is coming in from some module. And the second parameter is the format that you want to parse it into. Yeah. So the very first parameter, time to fill that in. I will go back to the star tab here and let's pick date. This is my first parameter. And the second parameter will be the format that I want to format into. Yeah. So if you go back to the datetime module and the format date, just hover over it, you will find that there's a tooltip coming up, and this gives you a neat idea of all the formats that are available. You see, DD. Oh wow! Wait a minute, please show that to me again. Well, I don't remember it by heart, so even I have to look into it. So, yeah, you can see dd.mm.yy So I think I'm gonna use that. That sounds way more convenient. So dd.mm.yy space hhm. And is that correct? Is this how I want it formatted? All in capital. I'm sorry, everything in capital. Yeah, everything in capital basically. YYYY HHMM, and that's it. Now let's try to fetch another thing from Gmail. And there we go. So one operation brings in two modules, two bundles, and two emails are saved in the logs. So you can see everything is there, and the date field is perfectly fine. So that's how you would use the format function. Now let's try to extend it a bit, yeah, because this was like the easy part. If you guys have any question from this part of the demonstration, please let me know. Drop that in chat, and maybe let me have a quick look at Q&A. Why we hear so many noise? I am sorry for that, Antonio. Yeah, I think yeah, the office is getting a bit lively now, so yeah, everyone is coming in and we're kind of enjoying here. Well, I hope it's the same for you all, yeah. So yeah, okay. Let me extend the solution now. All right. Yeah. So now the next thing that I want to show you is let's first get ahead of the limitation. You remember we only pushed the very first recipient into the recipient list. Yeah. So yeah, that's not good. That's not good. So we want something dynamic. Yeah. There can be 10 emails added in the recipient, or there can be, I don't know, n number of emails. So we want it to be dynamic. Every email can have n number of recipient, and that's what we want to support. And for exactly for that, what I'm going to do is I will remove uh, the to field from here. So let's remove it. And instead of that, I will push a subtable, and we will call the subtable as recipient. This subtable will have just one, how to say, field, which is email. And that's it. So you can see at the moment there's nothing in the recipient table. Yeah. And now what I'm going to do is, let me first tell you guys the flow. So as soon as Integromat receives an email from Gmail, it sees that how many, it counts the number of recipient, and then it creates that many recipient in, or maybe it creates first the email, and then it iterates on the recipient while creating all the recipients in Ninox. So that's the kind of flow we want to achieve now. Okay, so let's run it now. Let's modify it. If I open that module again, Integromat will throw a small error. Why? Because if everybody chat to all panelists and attendees drop down menu. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm also looking at the chat, so I get a bit distracted. Okay, guys, so you can see I have subject, I have text body, HTML, from, date of email, blah blah blah, and things like that. Yeah. Now I don't have the to field anymore. Now what I want to do is I will create the recipient once I have created the email. So let's simply again drop another Linux module, and the action again is going to be create record. So yeah, now you need to choose the connection, and remember, if you choose a different connection, you will have different teams because the teams are tied to the API key. So I'm using my API key, and Integromat will all the teams that are tied to my API key. So just remember to choose the correct connections. I'm choosing himanshu@ninox.com here, and let's move ahead. The team is DB20. The database is going to be, wow, I forgot, interaction, sorry. And now, yeah, you remember we created a small subtable, which was recipient. So there it is, recipient. And now that's something interesting. So you see now we have two fields. Why is that the case? Well, the very first field is actually a text field, and it allows you to or push some text data in there. But the second field is actually a link field coming in from Linux, and you will see a small hint here. You can link this record. So basically, what you need to give here is a valid record ID. And let me show you what a valid record ID means. So let's have a small formula in the table. And this formula, by the way, if anyone is not aware of what formulas are and the potential of it, please join our regular webinars. I hope they are still running. So, but basically, Ninox gives you this very wide capability to extend your databases with functions and scripts. So, and there are some inbuilt variables, inbuilt functions that you can use. And one of the variable that I'm going to use here is this.id. So, well, this means a reference to current record, and ID is one of the property of record, which give us the ID of the record. And you can see 1342. Well, these are the record ID. And whenever you create a new record, it is a single ID and unique in that table. I mean, so you can see, and it's constantly increasing. So, well, basically, in that integromat field here in emails field, you can still type in one and it's a valid because when the data is fed to Ninox, Ninox will identify, Ninox will automatically know that um, Ninox has to link a record created in the recipient table to a record that has ID1 in emails table. That's how the linking would work. So, but I want it dynamic because having that as static will not work. Yeah. And we can make it dynamic by simply selecting the record ID that was created in the very second step, not very first, in the second step. Yeah. So this becomes my link to the record that was created in the second step. And the email, as I mentioned in the text, this needs to be filled with recipient.email address. So if I select that, now notice that I'm still having one over there. That's not what I want. I want to iterate on the list, yeah? So let's first configure the iteration. So let's unlink it, and in the flow control, from the flow control, we will choose iterator. And the concept of iterator is that it takes in an array, it will iterate, and in every iteration, it will run the modules that comes after it. So let's first feed an array to it. The array is going to be recipient with a square bracket list, yeah? And in every iteration of that recipient, it's going to create record in Ninox. And yeah, you will see something different now. Are you prepared? Okay, so yeah, you can see the flow control iterator brings back the email address from one of the iterations, yeah? And that's something I'm gonna use here. And that's it, basically, that's it. Now let's try to run it. And if I do that, it's gonna first fetch some mails from my inbox, create the emails, and create the recipient as well. Now let's jump back to, okay, let's open. This is one of the email that was received from one login. And you can see the recipient is himanshu@nanox.com. That's dynamically fed in there. And now let's try to have something, well, let's have more emails, yeah? So yeah, let me change this from now on, yeah, and keep it running. Come on, yeah, it doesn't fetch anything for now, but I'll try to shoot an email to my inbox with multiple recipients. So Outlook, give me a minute. I'm using my other Gmail. Okay, okay. And yeah, maybe the text testing, testing. Yeah, so I just sent an email to myself, and this should be available as soon as I press the button. Oh no, not yet. Come on. Where are you, my email? It might, yeah, it's there. It's actually there. And there we have it. Look at that. Yeah. Okay. So the iterator ran on all the recipients. it created two operations or two recipient in Linux. Now let's have a look at the email that was created. So you can see it was sent from this particular address and the recipients were these. Yeah. So that's how you dynamically iterate on any structure or any object structure and then perform some action on it, which in our case, creating records for every recipient in the recipient list. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, this is more like, yeah, how can I say? I mean, that's more like the basic part of it. You probably would like to send out email addresses or send out emails right from within Linux. And let me show you how you guys can do that. Well, for that you basically need a small layout element and some modification in the structure in the schema. So I'm gonna, yeah, let me think how we can do that. Yeah, but I mean, it's now coming back to how you structure your Ninox database and how you build those relationships. Um, yeah, and and I'm in no mood of fighting with the relationships of the part. Yeah, okay, let me show you how to quickly create a small button that sends out an email. Yeah. So here's your button, and let's also add a small field as response text. So this is going to be a rich or maybe a simple text multi-line, and I'm gonna rename it to response. Okay, and wow, let me shift down a bit. Or response, something like that. Yeah. So now my idea is to this email, whatever I will type in this response field. And once I send the respond button, that response should be sent out to the address coming in. Yeah. So yeah, let's type something in, and yeah, it's going to be hey howdy. And as soon as I press this button, something should happen. An email should be sent out. Well, this can be configured again using Linux scripting language. So I'm going to use send email function provided natively by the scripting language. This function accepts an object. Object is the position of properties or the key value pairs. And you specify an object by using the cases. So this function receives an object, and this object needs to have these parameters. Number one is, to whom are you sending the email? Well, I want to send the email to the one who sent me the original email. Well, what was that? Text from, something like this. And from whom are we sending the email? I mean, who's the sender of this email? Well, I'm typing something static here, but this can very well be dynamic. Ninox.com. Either you can type something like that, or you can pick something like this. The recipient or the first of recipient dot email. Well, here what I'm doing is we all know that recipient is actually a subtable, and I'm picking the very first item or the very first record of that subtable and picking just the email there. So this is going to be a bit dynamic. Yeah, but just to make sure everything runs smoothly, I'm switching back to my static implementation, himanshu@nanox.com. Yes. Now, what is the subject? I guess we would like to follow the very typical response semantics. So something like this, RE subject, whatever the subject was when you respond, yeah? And the text. So the text will come from the response that I typed in, and that's it. So as soon as I press this button now, save changes, respond, an email is sent out. And wow, Himanshu@ninox.com is not registered with us. Well, looks like I'm, wow, that's kind of smart. No, from him, my bad, I wrote my name incorrectly. Himanshu@ninox.com. Laugh. So yeah, okay. Yeah, as soon as I press respond, I should be having an error here regarding testing. Hey, howdy. Well, the response that was there. And it's as simple as that. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions so far, please let me know because then we will advance to the next phase, which is about saving attachments in the database. Hey, Antonio. Yeah, let me promote you to panelists and then we can discuss. Okay. Yeah, Stephen. Yeah, I am really sorry for that. But you know what? Actually, um, yeah, okay. But yeah, let's dedicate some time to clarify a couple of doubts. Yeah. So if there's a part that you didn't understand or you want me to repeat that, then we have ample of time to do that. Okay. So I'm pretty panelists if you're fine with that. So and Antonio as well. Hey, Steven, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Um, I think I'll ask the recordings. It's really
Okay.
going fast, and I'm not an expert on
On the
integrations.
APIs and the
Yeah.
integrations. Yeah, that's definitely not a problem because we try to do these basic webinar as much as possible. But yeah, if you have any doubts, well, you said already that it's too fast, so I'm sorry for that. Yeah, I'll try to slow down a bit for maybe the next webinars or yeah, maybe even the demonstration. Yeah, if that works out. Okay.
Otherwise, it's really good.
All right. Thanks, Stephen. And is anyone else having any doubt or any question regarding maybe the scenario? Or if you have anything in specific to the API, or you want to understand just the basics of the API, or some wild idea that we can discuss, just let me know. Yeah. Wow. So is there a way to have access to the scenario in Integromat? Yes, there is. So, well, the idea is that I will dump the scenario, and I'm sure there is, yeah, export blueprint. So I will export the blueprint, and you all are aware of the NX API team, right? So we have a really kind of dedicated team for this, and the name of the team is NX API, where we store all the solutions that are in any way related to API or integration. So you can find all those solutions in in that team, and it is here. So guys, if you don't have access to the team, please let me know and I'll invite you guys. Oh my God, there are so many pending invitations. Wow. Yeah, but I'll invite you guys into the team, and yeah, from there you can have an access to it. So yeah, Antonio, please drop your email, and same for the rest. Please drop your email in the chat, and I'll invite you. Make sure that you're typing it to all panelists because otherwise I don't see it. Yeah, that's great. So so far I've invited two guys, and yeah, and maybe I'll proceed with the next half now before inviting anyone else. So you've yeah now we would like to let's say put attachments to the record. Yeah. Yeah, just to clarify a couple of other things. You see, every record in here is actually an email that is received by our provider, and it only makes sense that the attachments sent to or are attached to those emails are actually attached to the record in here. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now is we will attach, or we will upload the attachment system, and for this, yeah, we will build upon the existing scenario basically. So yeah. Oh wow. let me do some changes, and I'm going to introduce another really nice object from Integromat, and this is called router. So here we have it, router. Well, router gives you the ability to execute multiple paths based on either a filter or an expression, or maybe if you want to just execute multiple paths, yeah, be done with it. So you push a router, and then you start specifying different paths. So one of my path is actually creating the recipient, and the other path is going to create attachments. And let me show this to you again. So you see, if you carefully look at the bundle, we have a list of recipients and we have a list of attachments as well. What we need to do is just iterate on the attachments and create a file upload request in Ninox. So I'm going to iterate on all the attachments coming in from Gmail. This again will be a flow control iterator. And this time, instead of having recipient in the array, I'm going to have attachments. Where is it? Where is it? Do you guys see it? Oh, there it is. Attachments. Yes. So yeah, my iterator is going to do attachments, and for every attachment in the current iteration, it's going to upload a file to the record. And it's really just that easy. So choose the correct connection. Yeah, himanshu@nanox.com. Then choose the team where you know your database is. My team is DB20, and then the database. So it was interactions, and here comes the crucial part, the table. So yeah, just to just to specify, my table is going to be emails because that's where the attachments or uploading the attachments makes sense. Yeah, and now it's asking you to push a record or to specify a record. Now you see, if you click on that drop down, you will be shown a list of records that are there in the table. But if you choose any of those records, then it means you're statically saying that, I mean, you're making it static. All the attachments will go to the same record. So we do not want to choose anything from that drop down. Instead, what we will do is map this field. So switch on that map, and this record is now a text field which can be mapped to anything basically. Well, this anything is going to be the record ID that we created for the record that we created in the second step. So I'm going to choose that, and now it's dynamic. So every time there is a new record created, Integromat will know that, okay, for the newly created record, the record ID is X, and that record ID will be fed to this module. And from here, you can also see that the source file is automatically detected. So from the flow control iterator, the source file will be taken. And that's just that easy. So yeah, let me shoot another email to my inbox with some attachments because I don't have any email, I guess, like that. Subject is attachments. And I'm gonna drop a lot of attachments in there. So wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, there we go. Ah, no, no, no. It's really too big. Give me a minute. Maybe a picture. I have a picture? No, yes, no. Yes, I do have one picture. Great. So I just I'm almost done with the attachments. See through it. Oh wow. Well, I must be having something soon here in my inbox. Um, oh, do you guys see that? I already have the email. Let's pull that email into Integromat and then so yeah. it's working. It knows that there is an email, and you see, well, basically, oh wow. Anyways, yeah, but well, my attachment email didn't come through because there are two slots for the emails to be pulled, and those were occupied by a different email. So let me run that again. And oh well, I think it was there. Wow. Oh yeah, there it is. Attachments. And do you see that? These are the three files that I attached to the email, and it's just there. So if you switch to the attachments mode, you will find all the attachments that were sent with the email body, and they are now attached to the record in Ninox, to the correct record in Ninox. And yeah, that's just it. And the critical part that, or the very important step that we did was using the router here. It allows you to branch out, to execute multiple branches, maybe based on a condition or just simply without any condition, which was our case. So yeah, and that's it, guys. Yeah, I mean, if you have any question, please let me know. And I guess I still have some emails to be noted. Okay, but before I invite, let me go through the chat once. Can this be linked to a client? How would you link each email to a client table? Braham. Okay, wow. To a client table, or to a client record in a table. Wow, that's okay. That's one of the part that I didn't cover, because you see, when you're trying to manage interactions, the ideal way is that you could click on a record of a person and pull out all the emails from that person, or maybe all the response, or some response and something else that you sent out to that guy. That's ideally the case. Yeah, and you can definitely do that. There will be a small tweak in your Linux structure, and let me show you how to do that. Well, the very first thing is we will have a user stable, and this user stable is going to have an email field. Then we will have let's call it new emails, and we will do all that stuff like I think I had subject, then I had text, also the oh wow, HTML, date of the email, not date, not just date, well, date time of the email. And I'm keeping it simple, so I'll just add simple to and from. And you know now that you can make it dynamic, so that's not a problem at all. To and from, and is there anything else? Now, yeah, okay. Well, that's it. Now we will link these two tables. So an email, oh wow, I'm sorry. I did something small and something wrong in there. So then to and from are not needed anymore. Let's delete that. Instead, I'm going to create table reference to the user. So one of the reference, we will name it to whom was it sent, and the another reference would be from, um, again, to the users table. That's it. So now let's have a look at the table again. And I'm trying to create a sample record in here. So this is what it looks like. It looks like, well, some sample data, some date time. And you see, now you have ability to pick from one of the record in the users table. So what you just need to do is select any of those things. And I don't have any record in the user table, so I'm going to create one. It's let's say blah 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 at blah.com, and from is blah at blah.com. Wow. So well, that's the idea. So I assume, Braham, this is what you want to achieve, and achieving that is like really simple. Again, so all you need to do is you remember this guy. I mean the flow or the branch on the top, which was creating the recipient. Instead of creating the recipient towards the end, we will create the recipient in the beginning, and Yeah, so we first need to create the user. Once we have the user, we will use the created user ID to map it to the created email. And let me show you how to do that because it's otherwise really hard to explain in words. So we will create a new scenario. This scenario is based out, is using Gmail module, watching emails, and I'm going way too fast because this is the basic step that I need to go through. So bear with me for the moment. So yeah, I want to watch all the emails. Now, the second thing I'm gonna do now is, as I mentioned, create the users. So I will create all the recipients in my users table. So again, choose the connection, and the team is going to be, well, this one. The database is interactions. Table is, now you see I have a couple of tables over there. I'm going to choose user because that's the table where all the users are going to be. So, well, we have user, and now you need to specify the email. As I mentioned, the to address is going to be a record in the users table now. So, well, you just need to select the to address. Where is it? Oh, well, let's first select the sender address because that's way more easy. The second thing I'm going to do now is attach a flow control iterator because the recipient is a list and we need to iterate on the list while creating the record. So now the array is going to be, or the input to this iterator will be the list of recipients. And in iteration, I will again create record in Ninox. So let me, where is that? Mansion@ninox.com. That's right. And yeah, what else? Interactions. Table is, of course, user. And I'm going to create email. And you see, the flow control iterator is suggesting me that you can use email address from the current iteration. And I'm going to use that. Well, this guy, oh wow. I will just rename this module, create sender, create recipient, and this is iterate on all recipients. So now, once we have this, the next thing I'm going to do now is create another record in Ninox, create record, and choose the connection, choose the team, well, the database, and the table. So finally, we are creating email record. So the table is going to be emails. Subject will be the one coming in from the Gmail module. So yeah, there we have the subject. The text body will again be the text content. HTML body will be HTML content. Now the from and these guys. Yeah, so you see, oh wow, the from and do for some reason are not the linked record. Why would that be? Ah, it's not emails. I'm sorry, it's new emails actually. So you see now the to and the from, they are, well, they are they are the linked record. So to whom was this sent? Well, first fill out the form from. So the from is from the create sender module. And you see here we have the create sender. This guy gives me a record. And the to will be from the create recipient module. And that's it. Date and time can also be set to the date of the email. Here we have it. And that's all that you need. I just want to point out that there's a small mistake in this scenario. Well, basically, as I mentioned, that everything after an iterator will be repeated for the number of iterations done by the iterator. So this last module is going to be iterated multiple times. And yeah, that's kind of a sad thing. But yeah, this can be tweaked. But basically, I just wanted to demonstrate the idea on about how you would do that, about how you would how you would do integration using using a structure like this, where you have the to and the from as the linked records from another table. And I hope Graham solves that. Can you create a specific email to a specific client, email from Alan to client Alan in a table? Yeah, that's right, Alan. You can do that. A bit of scripting will be involved. So let's say that, yeah, I mean, the idea is kind of straight. I'll show you with oh, what happened to console? Where is console? Let me see if I can, yeah, I can get to console, yeah. So when you want to send out email to a specific client, then you need to select a record that belongs to that client. So it's select user because all my clients are in user, where email is, as you mentioned, Alan at co.uk. And when you have this particular person, then you can pick or maybe apply, because if you're sure that there is only going to be one client with that address, then you can just apply the first function on it and pick the email field from that record and use this to fill out your send email function parameters, just like that. Just like that. And the rest of the parameters should follow. So yeah, well, basically that's the idea. This is how you would do it dynamically. But I mean, I need to understand better the scenario you want to do to provide a better solution for that. So if you want, I can promote you to panelist. But before I do that, let me go through the chat again. Is there a way to filter the inbox emails? So only selected emails are pushed to Ninox. Definitely, Miriam, you'll need to apply the criteria here in either using the simple filter or the Gmail filter, and then you start using the query. And you can see use Gmail syntax example to search for messages in the social category that includes an attachment. So I mean, well, there's a bit of reading to be done about how to create a Gmail query, and you will need to create this Gmail query, pass it to Integromat, and then Integromat will only pull the emails that belongs or that matches that query, and only then those emails will be pushed to Nanox. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you need to look through the how to create these queries and stuff like that. It's just not that hard, you see. Let's say that I want to push only the records or only the emails that are coming in from no reply at nanox.com. Yeah. So the query would be something like this: from no reply at nanox.com. That's it. Yep. Without a space. Sorry. And yeah, only the emails that match or that have the from address set to no reply at nanox.com will be pushed to Nanox. So we first need to analyze the requirement and accordingly create the query, and then you will be able to do it. Marcus, same question. Can I check incoming mails in Integromat against an Nanox table? Blacklist, mail address, mails to drop like spam before Integromat creates a record? Yeah, you totally can do that, Marcus. So let's say that you have a blacklist table in Nanox. So whenever there is an email coming in to your Gmail inbox and Integromat detects that email, then the very first thing that Integromat does is it looks for a particular record in the blacklist table of Nanox. Yeah. And maybe let's say that the blacklist table is arranged around the sender address. So in the blacklist table, you have a list of addresses that are blacklisted. So if any of the email come from that blacklist address, then you don't want those emails to be created in Ninox. So for that purpose, what you will do is, let me unlink this and push a lookup record action. So this is the action that you need to do that. You need for this purpose. I'm going to choose the connection, then the team. Where is the team? Yeah, here it is. Of course, the database. And let's imagine that you have a blacklist table, okay? And I don't have a blacklist table at the moment, but I'm going to use emails just for demonstration. So let's say that emails, yeah, of course, emails, yeah. Or maybe not email, recipient. No, no, not recipient. Let's pick users, yeah. So if a particular or if the sender address of a particular email is in this table, then I'm not going to create that. This guy should look for record, and once it has the record, it will I mean, yeah, once it has the record, it will have it. And now I will set up a small filter here. The condition is the record ID from the second module should not exist, because if it exists, then that particular is in the blacklist table, and I don't want to create any email from that sender in Ninox. So yeah, that's how you explicitly cut that off from the scenario. So yeah, I mean, you filter it out, and only the records that are not there in the blacklist table gets forwarded to the next step. And Oliver, do I need a separate API key for its members of a staff email address? I didn't really get that, Oliver. Or maybe I'm missing the context. Wow, 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 wow. So for each connection that will be assigned to separate Gmail address, will, oh wow, I'm really falling behind the message. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's possible to exclude those in Gmail and make a rule in Gmail to redirect email. So Stephen, yeah, I mean, there are so many options available. So you can either, you can also just filter out those emails from the Gmail inbox itself, so that they don't end up even in inbox or even in your watched folder. So yeah, am I missing anything? I think I'm missing sending out the invites. But while I'm at it, if you guys have any question, please drop them. Oh wow, I see two messages. Give me a minute. I can expand it. Nice, nice. Para team. No, 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 not that. So an invite is out. Alan will be invited, and John Oliver who else is did I miss anyone? No, no, no. I need all members of staff to be able to send or receive emails from their Gmail account within Ninox. Oliver at askjules.co.uk. Okay, give me a minute. Oh yeah, I think yeah, I already sent an invitation for you, so you should be having it. So I need all members of staff to be able to send or receive emails from their Gmail account within Ninox. Um, you still can do it. That's not a problem. Even yeah, okay. So the receiving part of the email, for that you need to configure different scenario, because you see the Gmail account or the Gmail module is connected only to one. Steven, I'm gonna upload it soon. But the name of the database, I'll mention it. Uh, so the answer to Oliver's question, yeah. So you need the scenario for different staff members, because each of them have different connection to Gmail, and for all of those you will have different scenario. But the target database is going to be maybe the same database or maybe different, depending upon your use case. Sending out email from Ninox should be simple, um, because you just need to use the send email function, and it doesn't require you to do additional integration. It's native provided by Ninox. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Wow. Wait a minute. Or Oliver, maybe I'll promote you to panelist, and hopefully then we can resolve it quickly. Hey, Oliver, can you hear us? Oliver, I think you're
Hello,
muted.
hello, hello.
Hey.
Hi, hello, hi. So yeah, the scenario is I've got 11 Gmail accounts. Each Gmail
Mhm.
account is linked to a member of staff, and we want
Okay.
to be able to have the incoming emails and send emails all from within Ninox. But I was wondering, do we need then 11 different API keys for each
No,
Gmail, or
no. As long as your target database or the target account in Ninox is same, then you don't need more API keys or different accounts for that. Yeah. So
so it's in the target, you mean in the actual database itself?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, in this case it is, so that we all use one database, the same one, yeah.
So you just need one API key, and but you will definitely need different scenario, because you see the incoming data is different, the connections are different, so you will need different scenario for different staff members.
Yeah, for it to filter it out to the different staff members, correct. So, and I'll do that within the in what's it called, Intermat, whatever it's called.
Integromat, yes,
Intermat,
exactly.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So is that quite, we went through that before, didn't we? So if I watch the video back, I should be able to work it out.
We Yeah, I mean, we didn't create different scenario, because I tried to target a really simple use case. But if you want, we can cover this in our next integration workshop, like how you would go around doing that. There is
Yeah,
one another thing that you can do. It's more of a workaround. So for every staff member, what you will do is, as soon as they receive an email, there is a rule that all the emails that end up in inbox also gets forwarded to a common email. In which case, you will create just one scenario, and all the emails received by this common inbox will be created in Ninox. So this is more like a workaround, not exactly. And then I don't know. I mean, could be a workaround, could be a ideal solution. So
okay,
depends on
thank
how you
you.
take it. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah, no problem, Oliver. Okay. There's one from Uber. Can you can show a kind of blacklist if you like? Uh, yeah, Uber. I wish we had more time for this, but maybe this is like leaving the blacklisted emails out, and saving just the correct emails or the wanted emails in our Ninox database. Let's move this to our next integration workshop, and yeah, stay tuned, because the next time I'm gonna cover something even more complex. So for a couple of you, Gmail works fine, but maybe you guys are having a custom SMTP provider for which you don't have a module available in Integromat. So for that, we have something like custom SMTP module, custom email module, and I'll just show you how to configure that module and make it working with Ninox. So yeah, and this is something, Antonio, we will cover in our next integration workshop. So stay tuned. Yeah. All right, and we are almost out of time, and I hope I was able to answer most of you. If not, please jump into another API workshop and yeah, write to us if you need something immediately. Okay. All right, guys, have fun, stay safe, and enjoy the week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.